RFK Jr. isn't even the top health official yet in America. And at the rate he's getting Senate bipartisan criticism, it's doubtful. But he can already add next to his name a loss before the entire United States Supreme Court on a health issue related to misinformation and lies about COVID and doctors spreading them. I'm Michael Popok. You know where you are. You're on Legal AF, the YouTube channel. Let's talk about another loss for RFK Jr., his second one in the health world as he struggles to try to keep his health nomination afloat. This is a case where he's arguing before the United States Supreme Court, of course, not in his official capacity as the head of Health and Human Services, heaven forbid. He is there as an attorney, because he is an attorney. I don't know if people know that. I'm going to tell them now. He's not a health official. He's not a public health official. He's not a scientist. He's not a researcher. He's not a doctor. He's a lawyer like me. He's about as qualified to be the head of the Department of Health as I am. Actually, I think I'm more qualified because I don't have lame brain ideas and COVID misinformation and things about vaccine. I don't want to bring polio back or any of the old-timey diseases that we got rid of. Whereas he does, a raw milk advocate. He has all sorts of TikTok mothers celebrating that he may be the Health and Human Services director because they have all these kind of crackpot schemes to try to avoid giving their children vaccines. You know that group. So here, he's a lawyer, and he represents an organization that he founded. I'm not going to say it's phony. It's just self-created. It's just a little astroturfy, if you know what I mean. It's called the Children's Health Defense Group. You know, they always give it these names. So, you know, who could be against the Children's Health Defense Group? Well, it sounds like I'm going to be Michael Popok right here on this hot take. So here's what happened. In Washington State, the state medical board and its attorney general came down hard after COVID on doctors, yes, doctors, who swore an oath to not do any harm, to not kill their patients. These doctors were busy spreading misinformation about COVID vaccines and other vaccines to the point where they were jeopardizing the public health. And that's a bad thing. And that sort of overrides, at least under the law, any kind of First Amendment argument that they may have. And that was the argument that RFK Jr. made. They have the First Amendment right as doctors to lie to their patients. This is a great position to take as a public health official or a public health official wannabe. And yes, if you think what's happening right now to Pete Hegseth, where he's having a vivisection on national television by the Senate Democrats to try to get confirmed. Wait till you see RFK Jr. if he even gets that far. I mean, I will point out that while a number of the cabinet positions have already been scheduled for confirmation hearings, you know, Hegseth and Bondi and Marco Rubio and John Ratcliffe for the CIA, there's a number of them that haven't been, and RFK Jr. is one of them. Let's just put a pin in that for right now, but maybe Donald Trump's getting cold feet, or Susie Wiles, his incoming chief of staff, about the ability to get him confirmed, especially with cases like this one. So RFK Jr. to the rescue, like call in the cavalry. Sure, I'll take the case of defending doctors who are violating their Hippocratic oaths and telling people to do treatments that could kill them under First Amendment grounds. That sounds great. I have an organization to do it too, the Children's Health Defense Group. So they file an emergency application to stop the medical boards from taking away the medical licenses or disciplining these doctors. He's representing the doctors by extension. And he files it with the courts up in Washington State, up to the Ninth Circuit, which is in California, which is covered by one Supreme Court justice in particular, Justice Kagan, who represents the Democratic wing of the Supreme Court. And it is denied. The emergency stay at the appeal level is denied because the trial judge already ruled that you're not allowed to lie to your patients. That's probably a good thing in public health. And so they take an application to the United States Supreme Court. I did a report on this. But now he's lost actually another time, a major time before the entire Supreme Court. Kagan took one look at it and said, I got this. She didn't even ask for any opposition papers or any papers whatsoever from the other side, from the state of Washington. She's like, I got this. No hearing, no nothing. She ruled on her own, which she's allowed to do. Sure, we call it the shadow docket, but in cases like this, I'm fully supportive of not wasting scarce judicial resources on BS. And she said, big stamp, denied. I don't know if she actually has a big stamp on her desk that says denied, but it sort of sounded like it to me. Denied. Well, they didn't like that. And so they didn't like the justice that's assigned to their particular circuit and area of the world, Justice Kagan. So they decided to do a very unusual tactic. You can try it. I've seen it done like, I don't know, 2% of the time. They try to lateral it over to Clarence Thomas, thinking, well, if there's anybody on the court that's all for lame brains, scatterbrain ideas about public health, maybe it's our old friend Clarence Thomas. So they send it into Clarence Thomas, hoping that he'll take a look at the petition for emergency stay to stop this discipline of these doctors. And he took a look at it and he went, yeah, I don't want to do this on my own. So he sent it over to the full panel, now all nine, alt-right MAGA, Democratic wing, all 9 justices. And they took a look at it on this request for emergency stay. And I'm sure RFK Jr. was, his ears and his forehead were perked up. Am I going to get this? No. They didn't ask for opposing papers. They didn't ask for briefing. They didn't ask for an oral argument. Just in their Monday list, which comes out every Monday, they list which appeals they have no interest in whatsoever and which they will deny with just a simple one-liner. I mean, the ultimate insult. If you've got a case before the United States Supreme Court, you don't even get the beautifully calligraphied, opinion written heary with red ribbons and wax seals. You just get a one line denied. So he got the one line denied. And what is this? What is the proposition that has therefore been established by the United States Supreme Court? You're not allowed to lie if you're in the medical world or a doctor and you swore an oath. You're not allowed to hand out snake oil and try to sell liver pills and have people as an alternative to modern medicine and tell people that's okay. They're not going to allow, thank God, they're not going to allow what RFK Jr. and other MAGA want. This competing world of ideas within the marketplace and the public square of flat face. This is where we are with the problem with Facebook. Facebook has bent so far backwards and over to accommodate Donald Trump. We're getting rid of censorship. We're getting rid of any fact checking. We're getting rid of any misinformation police. You want to say go in the garage and drink motor oil to solve your cirrhosis of the liver? Go ahead. Let the public figure it out in the competing marketplace of ideas. I'm sorry, where are we, in the Roman Colosseum? We're just going to let people go in their garages rummaging around for cures and see if it works and just use, it's just like pure Darwinism. Let's see what happens. Oh, he died. That didn't work. Let's go on to the next lame brain recommendation. Is that where we're at now? I thought there are certain things we don't let amateurs try this at home. I thought that was it. I joke about Darwinism. Yeah, let's see who's left over. But it's not really a public health policy, is it? To RFK Jr., it is. I mean, there's certain things like I don't want do-it-yourself brain surgery. I don't want do-it-yourself jet pilot. I don't want, certain things I don't want do-it-yourself. I've never done taxes before. Let me represent you before the Internal Revenue Service. Like there's certain things I don't want. I can't abide. And doctors and nurses and other healthcare professionals handing out misinformation to the public and let them sort it out is one of them. Because there's no coming back from it. It's not like, don't take your treatment. Oh, now your prostate cancer has spread to your brain. Sorry, I was wrong. How many people were wrong during COVID? How many people literally have now tombstones that they're spending a lot of time with because of the misinformation around COVID? Including people that were near or in the Trump administration. This is a win for clear thinking and it's a big loss for RFK Jr. because if I'm like fill in the blanks for the Senate Confirmation Committee, on the Democratic side. Let's talk about all the cases you've taken to the Supreme Court lately and what you're selling there. Do you believe there should be, and he'll walk right into this, because that's the great thing about RFK Jr. He believes his bullshit. Right? He gets high in his own supply. He's going to walk right into this. Do you believe that the American people have the right to know competing information and sort it out in the marketplace of ideas, even if the competing information could kill them, right? Could lead to their diseases spreading or them dying, for which they cannot recover. But if it's in the market, I want to understand your position, Mr. Kennedy. If it's in the marketplace, you think it'll kind of sort itself out one way or the other. Maybe not for this particular person, but for other people. And you're in favor of this exchange of marketplace ideas about health. Is that it? And what's he going to say? He's going to say, yeah, that's a pretty good summary. I couldn't have put it better myself, and then hopefully there's a giant not confirmed stamp that we'll be able to use against him. But we'll continue to bring these ideas to this marketplace here on Legal AF, the YouTube channel. Popok Live, catch me on 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, every Tuesday night on the Midas Touch Network. 45 minutes. It's far-ranging. It's like this, but longer, with a lot more topics at the intersection of law and politics. Sometimes I verge outside of that. I'm unplugged. I am answering questions. I am giving answers. I'm taking no prisoners. Popok Live, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Midas Touch Network. Legal AF, you're already here. We hit 400,000 in 4 months over the weekend. That's all because of you. Really, thank you for that. I'm going to do a video thanking you for that in a few minutes. And then we're shooting for 500,000 by our 6-month birthday, which is right around the corner with your help. The bigger we are, it's not ego, it's algorithm. The bigger we are, the louder your voice is heard as you're helping us build this network with our bare hands. So until my next Legal AF contribution, I'm Michael Popok reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.